What's up, guys? Doomwake here, and welcome to another... Oh wait, we're not playing Modern. Pioneer video on the channel. Before we continue, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. First and foremost, I appreciate each and every one of you who commented on the most recent community post. I was leaning towards Pioneer, so I'm glad that a lot of people wanted to do some Pioneer content, and that's what we have for you today. You know, I've been a little down on Modern. I don't want to talk about Modern right now. We're going to talk about Pioneer. So I have been actually playing some Paper Pioneer because my LGS has been doing Pioneer FNMs for the past couple of weeks, and I've been loving it. I've been playing some Mono Red, some Ascendancy, some Burn, and I'm actually looking into building this deck. And what we have here is some Rakdos vehicles. So for those of you who played a lot of Standard during the Kalitas days, you'll remember this deck very, very well. This was far and away the best deck in Standard at its time when it had like fully powered with Chain Whirler and Unlicensed Disintegration and all these kinds of cards. It was absurd. And this is kind of the Pioneer port of that. So we're utilizing cheap removal, which is, play with fire. We have Dreadbore, we have Bonecrusher Giant, which is, looks like a 3-drop, but it's kind of a 2-mana removal spell. So we got good, cheap interaction along with Thoughtseize. Not a removal spell per se, but a good 1-mana interactive spell. And really cheap, efficient threats. So we have Heart of Kiran, 2 mana for a 4/4. Bloodtithe Harvester, 2 mana for a 3/2, gives you some additional value. You can sacrifice it to maybe kill a smaller creature. They stack up pretty nicely as you can kill bigger creatures up the curve. And just the blood tokens allow you to flood out less often, which is really nice. You have Scrapheap Scrounger, really hard to kill threat. There's not a lot of ways to exile. I mean, some people play Chain of the Rocks and Portable Hole like the Ascendancy deck, but a lot of people play with red removal like Play with Fire and Fiery Impulse and Lightning Axe like the Phoenix deck. So there's not a ton. There's not like the format isn't, loaded with ways to exile Scrounger, so it's pretty good. And then the love of my life, Bomat Courier, the little mailman over here. One of my favorite cards of all time, just really, really good effect. It's, if when you're on the play and you play Bomat, you get the card immediately, and then as long as you can deal with what your opponent's doing, whether that's with Thoughtseize or removal spells or Chandra or things like that, you can clear the way, and then, you get 3, 4, 5 cards under it, and all of a sudden you just now have a draw 5. So it's a really powerful effect. It's a small creature, it's fragile, but as long as you can clear the way, it's really, really good. And then we have another new-ish card, which this was a little bit bigger. We'll make it a little bit bigger for the YouTube folks. Graveyard Trespasser. So it is a 3/3 for 3. Ward, discard a card. So if they target it with a removal spell, they got to pay an extra card. Really good stats. Has some graveyard, interaction where when it comes into play or attacks, you get to exile a card. If it's a creature, you drain them for 1, and then it flips into a 4/4. Ward, discard a card. Except you get to exile 2 cards when it attacks. So really nice stats. It's not hard to kill in the sense of, it doesn't have protection or anything like that, but it always gets its money out. It always makes them discard an extra card. So this deck's just all about card advantage. Bonecrusher Giant, 2 for 1. Chandra, lots of card advantage. So you get some good value there. And then, Bonecrusher Giant again. Removal spell, also a threat. Same thing with Chandra. Removal spell keeps a really powerful Planeswalker in play. So this deck's just all about, efficiency, card advantage, just my kind of deck. And then the mana base, fairly straightforward. We get a bunch of dual lands. These pathways are kind of a fixture of Pioneer. You don't see them as much in Modern. And then we got some creature lands. We have 4 copies of Den of the Bugbear, which is, for my money, maybe the 2nd or 3rd best creature land of all time. I think maybe it's behind Mutavault, Mishra's Factory, but I think you can put Den of the Bugbear in the conversation with all the other ones, like all the Colonnades and Raging Ravines of the world. Den of the Bugbear is really good. And then we got 1 copy of Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Again, just more ways to prevent flooding. Could even see playing a 24th land in this deck because of how much anti-flood insurance you have, so that's kind of cool. And then moving on to the sideboard, we have a couple of Duresses for the control matchups, a couple of Fatal Pushes for the aggressive matchups, 4 Self-Inflicted Wound. One of the more popular decks is Green-White Angel Company, and they have just mono green and white creatures. Also really powerful against Winota. They have a lot of Llanowar Elves and white creatures. Also very powerful against even something like Jeskai Ascendancy. You could justify bringing this in because it's the only way that for your deck to kill Sylvan Curated, so might be worth considering there. 2 Go Blanks, mostly here for Phoenix, but also really good against control. Get 2 cards out of their hand, get their entire graveyard. Really good if they're trying to use their graveyard for things like Delve cards, Arclight Phoenix, anything of that nature. And then a Kalitas mostly for the Vampires matchup, because Edgar is a card that is really hard to beat unless you can exile it. And then also just against, other smaller creature strategies, it can be really potent. And then 2 additional copies of Dreadbore for when you need to kill Planeswalkers and stuff like that. And then rounding out 2 Kolaghan's Command for the grindy matchups like Control and the other Rakdos mirrors. So that's the deck list. I am really, really excited about this one. I haven't done a lot. It's been a while since I've done some Pioneer content on the channel, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy this. I think this deck is awesome, and I won't make you wait any longer. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. All right, everybody, round number 1. It's time to play some Pioneer. I am excited to play some Pioneer. A little bit of a nice change up from Modern. We are looking at a 1-land hand, so we're not going to go ahead and keep this. The deck list that I'm playing is kind of near and dear to my heart. I was a big, big fan of the Rakdos Vehicles deck back when they were in Standard. And, really, really nice deck list here. This deck list did win one of the recent Pioneer challenges, so I am pretty excited to see how this goes. We're going to lead on our red source to hold up Play with Fire and see what they are up to. This looks like this might be like the Rakdos mid-range deck. Heart of Kiran's not a bad draw. We'll go ahead and lead on that. Wouldn't mind drawing a red source so I can go Harvester plus Play with Fire, because I kind of want to... if they oh, I thought this was Rakdos. Never mind. Suspicious Stowaway. So 1/1 can't be blocked. Whenever it hits me, they get to loot. Okay, so no red source. I think I'm okay with them looting for a turn. So I'm just going to be mana efficient and play the Graveyard Trespasser and crew up the Heart and Smash. I'll always yield to that. And then, again, I guess what I could have done was play the Harvester, maybe loot with the blood token, potentially. That might have been a play as well. They did not attack with Stowaway. That might have been a misclick. We got a Watery Grave. And what do we got? Merfolk, Wind Robber. So it looks like this is just rogues. That's kind of cool. Alright, so good chance they have a removal spell for Heart of Kiran. How much do I care? I mean, I kind of do, but I think I'm willing to just go Scrapheap Scrounger, crew the Heart, and then kind of just fire up with both, hold up the Play with Fire. I think this play is fine. Yeah, it kind of stinks if they have Fatal Push, but it's not the end of the world. It's like one of those things that exchange is going to happen no matter what. And if they don't have Fatal Push, the upside's so high. They just take infinite damage. And it's got to be really hard for them to come back if they don't already have the push. I think I might even let this thing hit me. I could kill it, but... So this thing mills me when it hits me. Yeah, I'm just going to save the Play with Fire. Honestly, I might just go upstairs. Because if I go upstairs with Play with Fire, they go to 5. And then if I draw a land, I can actually... Well, red source. I can stomp them to 3, play the Harvester, crew the Heart, and have 3 lethal attackers. So I think I'd rather just save the Play with Fire. I can even Play with Fire them end of turn to get the Scry one, to try and find that second red source. So that's also an option. I will say Graveyard Trespasser is quite good against the rogue strategy, because they're really, keen on getting not only cards into their own graveyard, but their cards also are a lot better when they put cards into my graveyard. So this can mitigate both players' graveyards, which is really nice. Alright, they have conceded from the game. So, playing against rogues, I think Kalitas is good. I like Kolaghan's Command. Kind of like Go Blank. Could see Push and or Duress. Not a fan of Dreadbore, because 2 mana sorcery speed removal spell against a deck that has a lot of flash threats is generally not very good. I think I want to keep all my card advantage-y type cards. Honestly, the card I kind of am not a fan of is Thoughtseize. And then perhaps I do want the Fatal Pushes. I like cheap interaction. I think maybe the second... I'm not even sure that the first Go Blank is that good. I think I'm going to cut the second one. We'll try this. Because, you know, I mean, the effect is decent, especially against the Lura stack where they're trying to put cards into their graveyard. But, I don't know, 3 mana, sorcery speed against a deck that has counter magic. This hand's actually not that great because it doesn't have a good curve, but removal spell into 2-drop I think is just close to good enough. Good chance they just hold up mana on turn 2. They don't have that many sorcery speed threats they would play, except for the Stowaway, which I really hope they play Stowaway this game. Oh yeah, because now I just get to use my mana, slam the Harvester. Just get to be really mana efficient. That was a really good draw. That was the spot on the curve that we were missing. Yeah, that was an amazing draw step, because now we just get to curve out perfectly. This deck's nice. It's got a lot of powerful cards up the curve, which is why I like it a lot. Let's go to attacks first. I think I'm just going to play the Blightstep Pathway as a red source because I have the Urborg. Yeah, let's do that. And then cast Trespasser. I don't expect it to resolve. I don't know what counter magic they would play, like Censor or something. I guess not. I guess I'm going to exile my own card too. Just in case they have Drown in the lock. It's a card they probably play. Okay, 1/3 is pretty good against my Play with Fire. Oh, I forgot it was night, so this thing just... Oh my god, 3 mana 4/4. God, I completely forgot that they didn't play a spell that turn and it flipped. Oh boy. Yeah, this card is kind of insane. It's kind of ridiculous. They flipped a Scrounger. I don't have a creature to get back the Scrounger, but we'll figure it out. We're also just kind of miles ahead. I think we'll be okay. Eliminate. So now we can probably just go Chandra minus, because they don't have haste creatures. Jeez, we could resolve that too. Problem with resolving that is they can just attack mill card 4 and then have Drown. Whereas they can't really drown the Chandra, so I think it's much higher upside to get to resolve Chandra while they're tapped out. I do want to just get this out of here. Maybe that's kind of a spew, but they also might have like Hero's Downfall or something to kill Chandra, and I want to get my money out of it before they kill it potentially. So like I get my guaranteed 2 for 1 if I activate it there. I could save it for something bigger, but again, a lot of their cards have flash anyways, so it would likely just be to go Kalitas and then minus to get the Kalitas trigger. I don't think it's that relevant, though. I think I'd rather just get the Thoughtseize out of there while I can. But now they can't drown the Kalitas, which is nice. Let's exile a card. In case we hit a Bomat. See? Because we do have haste creatures in our deck. Let's go to combat. They could have a Thoughtseize to block the Bomat Courier, which would be kind of awkward because I think I would let them block and play with fire, but that would mean I'm not playing Kalitas this turn. Okay, they're just not playing the Thoughtseize if they do have it. And now I just slam Kalitas. And we're just kind of chilling over here. They can't drown this. Life is very tough for our opponent. Okay, that's fine. Now they can drown this. Okay. It's not a bad turn. It's not a bad turn for them. They only have 3 cards, though. And we have 2 play with fires to kill the enforcers, so I don't think it's going to matter too much. If they send both at Chandra, I'm just going to let Chandra die. Yeah, this is fine. I don't want to trade the Kalitas. I guess maybe this is worse if they have a Wrath. I don't know if they would play a Wrath. Extinction Event, maybe? Guess they could name Evens, but that's going to be bad for you no matter what, right? Even if I trade, my Chandra still dies, and then they just name Evens anyways. Okay, that's fine. They don't have a Drown, though. Let's go to attacks first. See what they decide to do. I'll auto yield to this. If they don't have effects in combat, I think I'm just going to let damage happen. Fatal Push. Okay, that's fine. Alright, I'm just going to go play with Fire and Enforcer and then Chandra the other one. I just want to clear the board. Might as well do it main phase. Just make sure there's no way out for them. Make sure there is no way out. Alright. Opponent has had enough, so that was a pretty good showing. Played against blue-black rogues. I'm not too familiar with the Magic Online metagame, so I don't know if this is like a, a deck that a lot of people play, but it seems like a pretty cool deck, so I hope that was a nice little introduction to the Pioneer format, and we're 1-0, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 2. Alright everybody, round number 2. So one thing I will note is we've played against 2 companions so far, but the good thing about at least Lurrus and Pioneer is there's no Ragavan, there's no Darcy, there's no Mishra's Bauble, so the cards that you're getting back with Lurrus aren't necessarily, they're not the best cards, so not as much of a problem as it is in Modern. I'll lead on Thoughtseize. Ooh, we're doing some fire stuff. Okay, so how's my curve gonna work? I can just go Scrounger on 2, hold up interaction on 3. And then if I draw land 4, I can play Bonecrusher and hold up Play with Fire for the Shark token. So I think I'm just going to take Fires. I don't really think I care about this. Or I could just take the Shark Typhoon. But I think the Fires is higher upside. And I have enough answers to the Shark token that I think I'd rather just take the Fires. I think the Fires allows them to go a little bit wider. Like, I know that if I take the Transmogrify and leave them with Fire's Shark Typhoon, their hand is not great. But if they just draw a couple spells, that could make things more awkward. That's actually a really good draw. So they played Sun Petal Grove, because now I can just go land 3 Scrapheap, hold up Heart of Kiran, which is pretty good. So I imagine they'll play Glacial Fortress. Yeah. Question is, are they going to go for it? I mean, probably not, right? There's no way they go for it. So let's play Scrapheap. Let's crew the Scrapheap. Attack for 4, player land, oops. Get in there for a nice chunk of 4. I miss when Heart of Kiran was everywhere in Standard. It's funny because Smuggler's Copter was, I think, obviously way too good for Standard play, and like Heart of Kiran was kind of the fixed version of it. I mean, they're a little bit different cards, right? But it was like, Smuggler's Copter was a little bit too much, Heart of Kiran was them trying to dial it back a little bit. But it's just, I think this is a really, really well-designed card. Yeah, they're unsurprisingly not going to go for it. Wouldn't expect them to. Well, maybe they are. If they're attacking here, maybe they are. But yeah, I miss that Standard. I had so much fun during that Standard. There's no way they go for it, right? Just going to call my bluff. Alright, well. Bluff called. It's not a bluff. What do we got? Alright, well, there's downsides to playing Heart of Kiran for sure. It's not all upside. Although if that was a second Smuggler's Copter, then we're talking. Unfortunately, correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, I'm pretty sure that Smuggler's Copter is banned. Because I imagine if it wasn't, it would be in every deck, so... let me know in the comments, for those of you who play a decent amount of Pioneer, I used to play a lot, this is kind of like my re-foray into the format, so kind of learning a little bit. You think Smuggler's Copter would be too good? I think it would, but... Alright, Chariot's kind of a problem. I think what I want to do is... crew, let them trade for the Scrapheap because it's lethal. Yeah, I think I like this. Because if they don't trade, they die. So they have to trade. Trade's fine. I go to 5. And then I think I'm just going to pass. If I play Trespasser, they get to resolve Transmogrify, so I don't really want to do that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass, right? Yeah, let's pass. And I think what I might do is end of turn. I guess the Trespasser is lethal, right? Yeah, because I can exile my own Scrapheap Scrounger. So even if only this gets in, it puts them to 1. This is the extra point of damage I need. So depending on what they do, I may or may not use the Stomp. Obviously, if they cast the Transmogrify, then I'll, probably end the game, but... Alright. Opponent has conceded from the game. So we're playing against Fire's Transmogrify. What do we want to do against them? Probably Duress. Duress seems pretty good. Potentially Go Blank, although they don't use their graveyard that much, I don't think. I think Dreadbore is quite bad. Sorcery Speed interaction is not where you want to be in a matchup like this. You know, the instant speed interaction is good. As you can see that game, you can cut them off of Transmogrify. But kind of don't want like clunky cards like this. I feel like I'm just never going to be able to tap out for this into the face of a Transmogrify. I could have one Fatal Push. I don't want a ton of them because they can beat you without Transmogrify. And, you know, if they're playing like the fair value game and you draw a Fatal Push, it's kind of could be the difference between winning and losing. So I don't know if I like that. Self-Inflicted Wound, they stack a green or white creature, not very good. Kolaghan's Command, again, slow, value-oriented cards, not a huge fan of. I'm going to bring in one push. I think that's it. I mean, I guess Kolaghan's Command does hit Chariot, so maybe it's worth it. Because that card is kind of a problem. So maybe Chariot is enough of a reason to bring in Kolaghan's Command, even though it is kind of a more slow, value-oriented card. This hand's obviously bad. This is essentially the same hand. Alright, we'll go to 5. This is not a good hand. It's one I'm probably inclined to keep, though, instead of going to 4. Don't need the basic swamp, and I have Hive, and probably don't need this. I guess this is worse than a mountain, right? Yeah, sure. Alright. Spell? It's kind of a spell. I shouldn't need to play with fire on turn 2, so I can get this into play in case I draw Den. See, being on the draw in this matchup is super awkward because you don't, especially when you don't have a 2-drop. Like, I don't really want to tap out on turn 3. Okay, interesting. Any chance I want to play with fire? I think there is, because they sometimes have... There's a card that... what's the blue-white saga that makes a 1/1 flyer? It's like 3 mana, make a flyer, next turn when it hits them, draw a card, and then they get to tutor for a card... This thing, Raven's Warning. Yeah, see? I knew there was a reason. So this makes a 1/1, and Chapter 2, whenever a flyer hits me, they look at my hand and draw a card, and then Chapter 3, they get to put a card from outside the game on top of their library. So we get to curve pretty nicely here, kill their thing, untap, play a threat. Okay, that's a little too many play with fires. I think that's enough of those. I think I'd prefer to start drawing other cards. Just, you know. Cards that aren't shocks, preferably. What's this? Narset, okay. Probably going to kill Narset. They put fires in their hand. That's not good. They have land 4? May or may not. They do have land 4. Okay. Alright, this might get pretty bad for us. Yeah, I see the problem with boarding in these Fatal Pushes. Yeah, I just don't have a spell to cast, so... Your turn. Kill Narset, flip that. It's not looking great. Because they get to play a fires and put a good card on top of their deck. Which means they're set up for the fires next turn. And I also can't, even if I draw a discard spell, I can't Thoughtseize because they put it on top, not in their hand. It's going to be a tough game. Needed land 4 that turn to have a chance, I think. Like, the turn of Kill Narset, play Chandra uptick would have been pretty good, but might be a little too far behind at this point, depending on what they have as a follow-up. Oh. They just don't have a spell. I could have end a turn to play with fire. I probably should have done that, right? Because I could have EOT'd this to try and find land 4. Yeah, that would have been a lot better. Alright, let's get rid of these. I think I'm just going to play the Bonecrusher Giant. Guess they can have Verdict, but... yeah, I 100% should have cast one of these Play with Fires. I didn't want to cast both because it would have flipped this, but I should have at least played one, for sure. Alright, so this is probably whatever they tutored for. Okay, yeah. Maybe that was a reason to not... maybe that was bad. That was probably a reason to not tap out. Could have just held up the stomp. Yeah, that would have been better, for sure. Because they almost certainly got Transmogrify, or they already had the Transmogrify. Yeah. Alright, Agent of Treachery. This is where things get dicey. Oh, they're going to take my lands. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are they going to transmogrify the agent into another agent? No. Okay. Well, I think I should attack first. So let's do that. And then I can fire off a Thoughtseize. I mean, all things considered, it's not terrible, right? We have a Thoughtseize, and we at least get to hold up play with fire. Oh, they drew the other targets. Okay, do I care enough about Deafening Clarion? I actually kind of don't, because it only kills this. I think I have to take Cosmos. Because otherwise... yeah. Yeah, if they draw a land, I'm kind of screwed to this thing. Am I more likely to be able to beat the agent? I mean, I know for a fact I can't beat this, right? 6/6. Yeah, there's no way I'm beating that card, so I'll take that. I guess I could have Thoughtseize pre-combat to get a damage off of this if I had a creature. So maybe I should have done that. Okay, Agent of Treachery resolves. I take my land. Well, I guess I should go upstairs with this. Try and find lands at this point. Top. Okay, their last card. Oh, they can Yorion, right? Okay, we're just dead. Because then they just get to cast the Yorion for free. Blink these, take my last land. Yeah, okay. Alright, we'll go to game 3. Yeah, that would have probably been a pretty easy game if I just didn't tap out for Bonecrusher Giant. Alright, let's go to game 3. Probably would have won that game if I didn't tap out. I don't know why the thought of token into Transmogrify hadn't crossed my mind, but this hand's really good. This hand is discard spell into heart into 2-drop plus discard spell potentially. Chariot Omen Warning. Kind of want to take the Omen and then the Warning. Leave them with Chariot. Like, I think I'm going to be able to erase the Chariot. I'm going to take Omen and then take Warning. I guess this line might be worse if I don't draw a land. Did draw a land. So now we can go Heart into 2-drop plus discard spell. Okay, Glacial Fortress. Birth of Meletis. Okay. Fatal Push, not a bad draw. So let's go Scrapheap Scrounger. Thoughtseize you. Probably have to take... I mean, I guess we just take the Chariot at this point. They also drew Clarion. Jeez. Was not planning for this. Their hand is really good. Like, really good. So, if I take Warning, they're probably not going to cast the Clarion. They're probably going to play Chariot the turn after. I don't know if I can give them access to their sideboard with the Warning, though. I think the Warning is just too much value. Yeah, I don't know if that's right, but I'm going to take the Warning. This is going to be a tough game to win, though. I think. I think this is going to be a tough game to win. Alright, they get a wall. Play the Plains. Is that not the Plains that I knew about? It's definitely not, right? Oh, maybe it is. Just looks weird. Why does it look like that? Wow, they just fired off the Clarion? Okay, I'm really happy about that. I am very surprised they fired that off there. Very, very surprised. Alright, well, crew my thing. Attack. So they play the Plains and the Clarion. So they have 2 Foundries, a Chariot, and 1 unknown card. Yeah, I don't know why they just fired it off on the 1 Scrapheap Scrounger. I guess they just wanted to use their mana that turn. Because they knew they were going to be tapping out for Chariot the next turn. Wait, they're just now playing Chariot now? They picked up Yorion. What the heck? Okay. So their hand is Foundry, Foundry, Chariot, Yorion. Alright, I'm going to get a little aggressive here. I'm going to go push EOT. I guess I didn't need to do that, but this is better if I draw a discard spell, because then I can go Harvester plus discard spell. So it's a bit risky, but it's really high upside if I find the discard spell. Okay, did not find the discard spell, but I guess I should loot. Is there a reason to loot? We go to 7, 4, 6. I guess the reason to loot is if I draw a tap land. Okay. Well, that was the reason not to loot. Obviously, didn't know I was drawing Chandra. Red source is now lethal if they tap out for Yorion. I don't think they're going to, but... What's this? This can't just be the Yorion, right? Really? Okay. So, yeah, red source kills them. A lot of things kill them. That does not kill them directly. Chain to the Rocks. Wait. They had Chain to the Rocks and didn't just go... Why didn't they just go Chain plus Chariot? Wouldn't that have been a much better turn? I'm very confused. Okay, well, I'm just going to put them to 2. I am going to take the Chain to the Rocks, I think. Maybe the Shark Typhoon. Yeah, I think the Shark Typhoon is best. And then I'm just going to attack with both. Question is, do I loot the Chandra away? Oh, wait. -6/-X reaction twice the number of blood tokens you control. So I can go tap, sack, give this -2/-2. And then crew with this one attack. That's not very good, though. I think that's worse than just attacking with both. Putting them to 2. Still dead to a red source. Dead to a shock. They're dead to a lot of stuff. I know they get to kill the Harvester, but... I guess their turn is just kill this, play Chariot. They can't really attack, though. It's a bit greedy if they attack. Because they're just dead to any creature. Oh, I also have the Scrapheap Scrounger. I totally forgot about that. I just had lethal, didn't I? Oh, no. I totally forgot about the Scrapheap Scrounger. Okay, that was horrible. Oh no, I didn't have a creature in the graveyard. Right. Okay, this was the creature. Okay, I knew it. Okay, no, you're right. I knew I didn't forget something. Okay, maybe they'll forget. Well, I mean, even if they didn't forget, they can't attack here, obviously. Attacking would not be good, but I do get to use my mana. So let's exile this. Hopefully draw a red source. Or shock. Or something. Red source it is. Alright. We are 2-0. 2-0. That was an interesting match. I believe this is one of the better decks in the format. The 4-color Fires Transmogrify deck. I used to play this deck a little bit. I enjoy playing this deck. So, anyways, we're 2-0. I'm having a good time here. I hope y'all are having a good time watching. See you back here in just a little bit for round number 3. All right, everybody. Round number 3. We are 2-0 with Rakdos Vehicles. I was gonna say this hand looks pretty good until I saw that we have 3 red sources, so I think we're gonna have to throw this one back. Any black source in that hand's really good. Do I want to keep 5? I guess 4 land. 4 land, Scrapheap Scrounger, Play with Fire. I think because I have Den of the Bugbear, I'm willing to keep this hand. Obviously not in love with it, and we're going to need to find a couple of spells here, but I think I'm willing to keep this. We have an answer if they have a 1-drop, if they're playing something like Winota, maybe they have a Llanowar Elves, Mono Green Devotion. So, we shall see. This hand's not great if they're playing a control deck. Play with Fire, not great against control. Or Phoenix, for that matter. Not really that good against Phoenix. Basic Island. Ascendant Spirit. Definitely not a control deck. Okay, land 5, not the best. Not the best. This thing, make it 2/3. So they're playing spirits, but mono blue spirits. Oh, you know what I can't do? I was almost going to Bonecrusher stomp this. You don't want to make that play. If you stomp the Wanderer, they just get to sacrifice it. I'm just going to cast a Bonecrusher Giant. Just gonna cast a 4/3. Yeah, if you target the Wanderer with the Bonecrusher Giant, even though they can't counter the spell, they can just sacrifice this. Yeah, maybe I got punished for not doing that. Although I would have had to just trade the Stomp for this, but and if I hold up Bana, they probably just don't even do this. Okay, well, never mind. Game number 2. Let's bring in some Fatal Push. If I want Dreadbore, maybe Kalitas. Duress, not the best. Wound, not good against mono blue. They could be blue-white, I guess, but not sure. Kolaghan's Command, Go Blank, not great against counter spells. So the Fatal Pushes are slam dunks. Thoughtseize is incredible. I like Bonecrusher Giant because it's instant speed interaction. I'm going to cut the Adversary because it's kind of slow. And I think I might want to trim like a Chandra and a Trespasser and bring in a 3rd Dreadbore, but not all 4. Because similar to the last matchup, sorcery speed removal is just kind of awkward for different reasons, but just not a big fan of sorcery speed removal when they have a lot of like counter spells and flash threats. And Dreadbore is not exactly Terminate. This hand, no interaction, but it's quite good. It's a really good curve. Okay, let's hope they don't have the... what you call it? What's that card called? Curious Obsession. So they can make this thing a 2/3 for 2 mana. Card's pretty powerful. Mausoleum Wander and the Curious Obsession. Jeez. Alright, well, let's find a removal spell right now. I guess we have the Heart of Kiran to maybe block it in a couple of turns. Okay, kind of found a removal spell, but they have the Wanderer. Any chance they block? Probably not. We'll offer the trade, though, because we're not blocking. There's no way they block. Alright, so now what do we want to do with our turn? We could... I think I'm not going to cast Stomp, because I could also just cast Stomp next turn and pay for the Wanderer, potentially. So I think what I might do is go Red Source, Heart of Kiran. Yeah, I think this leaves my options open. Maybe not. The problem with playing Heart of Kiran here is if I plan on playing Stomp and paying a mana for the Wanderer next turn, I'm not actually crewing the Heart. And if that's the case, maybe it's better for me to just... Okay, well, they're just doing this. So, the question is, are we racing? Or are we holding back the Heart? I think we might be in a racing situation. So I can play Trespasser, and then the turn after I can Stomp and Scrounger. So let's do that. Yeah, I think I just have to try and race here. I don't know if I'm favored in this race, but it's going to be close. Because they can also activate this, too. This is 4, 7, 8, go to 6, 4, 5, 13, and then 4, 7, 8. What's this card do? Cost 1 less to cast Mutual Spirit. That card is really good. Okay. So we're dead. So we're dead. Cool. Cool, cool. There's always game 3. Just didn't draw enough cheap removal. And their draw was, you know, basically perfect. 1-drop into 1-drop plus Obsession into use all of my mana plus hold up counterspell. 1 mana counterspell. Unconditional counterspell. So I guess we're probably going to play defense this turn. I don't know if it's a good plan, but... So let's go play Red Source, play Scrapheap, and then just pass. What does this thing do? Oh, they can just make it a 5/5. God, this card is sick. Alright, well, I probably should have attacked. Don't think it matters if I attack. It's 4, 5, 6, 7. I go to 3. They're 12. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered. I think we're just dead either way. But yeah, I had not realized that I was not going to be able to trade with this. And then they could pay 4 to put 2 counters. Jesus. Yeah, if this thing starts going, it's really hard to beat. Well, I'm not going to chump block, so I'm just going to block a Wanderer. What's this? They also have Petty Theft, huh? Alrighty then. So, yeah, their draw was pretty good. Pretty good, I would say. I actually don't think we have any outs. So I will not waste anybody's time. We'll go to game 3. Submit. Let's go. Game number 3. We're on the play this time. And this time we got a cheap removal spell. And 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 2 plus 1. So, I think we're going to be okay this game. I would hope so. Alright, opponent kept 7. Let's see what they got. Assuming they have a 1-drop. Let's deck first. Yield to Bomat. Question is, what 2-drop are we playing? Spectral Sailor. I think I'm down to offer the trade. Because I think I'd rather have them trade and I'll just play a 2-drop. I think I'm much happier with this than them holding up mana and potentially having a 1-mana threat, flash threat into Curious Obsession. I just don't really think I care about that trade. My hand is just kind of all creatures, so I think that trade is good for me. And I think the only way they would make that trade is if they didn't have the Obsession in hand. So we know they almost certainly don't have Obsession. Okay, so now we get to go... I'm just going to kill this thing main phase and play a Scrapheap Scrounger. Just to be as mana efficient as possible. Could have stomped it, because Stomp uses more of my mana, but I don't get to use all of my mana that turn. So, I think it's better to do this. And honestly, at this point, like they're already so far behind, I don't even think I care about this 2/2. Like I could kill it, but I could also just attack with both and play a Trespasser and just kind of press my advantage and don't really. They also can't trade because this thing can only block flyers. So, but I did want to kill it last turn main phase previously because I don't want them to untap and have mana available to maybe counter it. Okay, well they're off it. Yeah. So the 2 games we won, they missed land drops. And the game that they won, they had how many 1-drops they played that game? I think they played like 5 or 6, maybe 7. But yeah, we are 3-0. This deck is sweet, and let's keep it going. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 4. All right, what's up, guys? Pioneer time. We're 3-0, and I'm having a blast. So I hope y'all are enjoying the Pioneer content. Be sure to let me know in the comments. You know, like I said, I appreciate y'all who commented on my most recent community post. I've been kind of feeling a little bit down on Modern lately, so I wanted to spice it up a little bit and have some fun. And Pioneer has definitely definitely brought the fun to the table. So I am having an absolute blast, and this hand is awesome. Get to go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Heart, turn 3 Scrapheap tap land. Kind of just curve out pretty perfectly. Opponent mulled to 6. We are chillin'. Opponent mulled to 5. Ooh. Thoughtseize against the mull to 5 is pretty good. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What are your guys' opinions on Pioneer? So our LGS was doing a ton of basically Modern every single night for, as long as I've been going there for about 7 months. And am I taking pieces or iteration? I think I'm going to take pieces. Well, yeah, pieces looks at more cards. But yeah, my LGS decided to switch to Pioneer about a month ago. And we've been doing it ever since, and I've been having a blast. I built Burn, I have Monorin, I have Ascendancy, and it's just been really awesome exploring all these different archetypes, and I've been having so much fun. I'm probably going to build this deck in paper, because I don't need a ton of cards for it. I have most of these cards. So this is a deck that is, again, as I said, near and dear to my heart. Big fan of Rakdos vehicles. And there's not a ton of places you get to play decks like this, and Pioneer is definitely one of those places. So our opponent is playing the de facto best deck, which is It Phoenix? I could be mana efficient and just play the Bonecrusher Giant, which I think is actually a little bit better. Because if I draw another 2-drop, I can double spell next turn, and I don't know if the shock matters too much. Maybe it does. Let's hope I didn't draw a lightning axe. Consider if they're going to try and find a lightning axe. Got some stuff for the Phoenix deck. We're going to be bringing in, I think, just Go Blanks. I don't really think we have a ton else, but maybe Duress, maybe... Nah, Kalitas is not good. Definitely Go Blank, definitely Duress. That's probably it, to be honest. Well, they found Phoenix and Lightning Axe. Okay, that's not great. I mean, the good news is they only have Iteration and a land left over, but... some pretty good finds for them, definitely. They're going to lead on Iteration, which makes sense. Let's see what they hit off of it. Still have Pathway left over. What's our best draw? Probably Chandra, because we can go Chandra, add mana, play Scrapheap. Alright, they hit a land. Okay. I don't know why I main phased that. Probably shouldn't have. I just want F6. That's honestly the reason. That's the reason I main phased it. We're going with that. I just wanted to F6. You gotta love the good old F6 value. I feel like this matchup is not great. Although Lightning Axe is probably their only way in their entire deck to kill Arclight or to kill Heart of Kiran, because they have like Flame Blessed Bolt, Wild Slash, I think. No, they. I don't. Do they play Fiery Impulse? I can't remember. I don't know what removal they play. I have to look at a deck list, but they just hardcast into Phoenix. Alright, I'm down with that. That I can just kill. I'm going to kill it EOT so I can fire up the Den too, because I don't think they're attacking. If they attack, I'm just not going to cast it, but... Alright, so we get to go kill this, untap, fire up Den. Ooh, do I fire up the Den or do I play Chandra? 4, 8, 11. I think it's better to fire up the Den. I think it's more upside to get a Den hit in than Resolve Chandra, because they don't usually play counter spells anyways, so I'm likely gonna get to Resolve Chandra regardless. So I think it's just better to get a guaranteed hit in when they don't have mana up. Now granted, if they can rip off 3 spells here, that's maybe going to be kind of tough because they have 2 Phoenixes, but you know, they're at 5, they're at effective 3 with the Chandra. So they get back 2 Phoenixes. They can't really attack. We can get back the Scrounger if they trade with both of these. You know. 3 blue pieces. No, this... If they had pieces, they would leave a land untapped. Okay. I think what they might have had is Temporal Trespass. But they've realized that maybe they didn't have any outs. Temporal Trespass is the Delve Time Walk. Alright, so Go Blank coming in. Duress coming in. I could bring in Fatal Push because it kills Thing in the Ice. Kind of the same with Dreadbore, although these removal spells are not really good against Arclight Phoenix, as you could probably imagine. I think Kolaghan's command is not great. I mean, Kalitas is attractive, at, you know, if you get to remove Arclight Phoenixes from the battlefield, but that's really hard to set up. Like, you have to untap with a 4-mana 3/4, hope they don't have Axe. It's a lot to ask, I think. Question is, what are we cutting? I think... If I wanted to bring in just these 4... I really don't like Dreadbore in this matchup. It's like, it's you know, mana neutral against Thing in the Ice, but... I guess what I could also do is cut all the Play With Fires and bring in Fatal Push, so I have more clean answers to Thing in the Ice. Because Play With Fire, you know, it kills Arclight Phoenix, but does it even really kill Arclight Phoenix? And I think I'd rather just keep in Bonecrusher as just a 3-mana 4/3, just a thing that attacks. Can also go like this for a Dreadbore, and then 1 Bonecrusher for a Dreadbore, so I have 4 clean answers to Thing in the Ice. Let's do that. I don't know if that's right. I think Thing in the Ice is the card that I'm probably the scared of the most. Okay. This hand plays. We get to go Bomat Courier into potentially a 2-drop, maybe Fatal Push. Hand's not bad. I've seen worse. Hit Mulligan again. It's a good start. Good start if you're rooting for Doomwake. Alright. They are keeping on 6. Another deck that I really wanted to try lately is, I think Todd Anderson has been playing a bunch of the Mono Green Devotion deck. I think Corey was playing it as well, and that deck looked really sweet. Okay, Spire Bluff Canal, huh? I almost want to lead on Thoughtseize. I mean, here's the thing though, if they have a shock for my Bomat, I don't really care. Because I can, like, if they, let's say they go shock into Thing in the Ice, I can just go Bomat into push your thing plus Thoughtseize you. So I think I'm going to play the Bomat. Oh no, I needed to play Swamp on turn 1. I did not leave myself the option of having 2 black spells on turn 2. Right. So I think what I needed to do was go Swamp on 1, and then if the line presents itself where I can go push Thoughtseize, I would play Summit and then just have this come into play tap later on. Or if they didn't play a Thing in the Ice, I could just go, like, you know, play this on turn 2, play this. So I think playing the Swamp there was better. I know it sounds really weird because usually you want to get the Den into play as soon as possible, but with this exact hand, I actually do think it was right to play the Swamp. Alright, they bottomed. You know, it might not matter, but just the little things. I always like to think about the little things. Okay, well now it definitely mattered. I'm still going to play Harvester. I guess they could anger me if I play Harvester, but I think that's kind of fine, because then I can just double Thoughtseize them. Like, if they're angering me, that means they're not playing a card advantage spell like Pieces or Expressive Iteration, which means they're, they're leaving those cards in their hand, which I can just Thoughtseize next turn. They could also just have a removal spell and didn't want to use it on a Bomat, which, understandable. And that's the other cool thing about bringing in like situational cards like Fatal Push, is when you have Bloodtithe Harvester, you can just loot the cards away if they don't find a target. So, pretty low opportunity cost to bring in cards like that. Okay, they had Flame Blessed Bolt, which kills my Harvester, gets exiled, which means they're definitely not casting Anger. Let's see what they are casting. Nothing. Alright, combat. I will present 1 damage with the Bomat Courier. Thoughtseize you. So I get to go double Thoughtseize, hold up the Bomat activation. I wonder if they're going to kill the Bomat now. Question is, do I sack it? They have 3 cards left. I think I'm not going to sacrifice it. I think I value the second Thoughtseize really, really highly. Because if they have 2 spells... Oh. Okay, well their hand was just awful. Okay, kind of punished. Sack this now in case I find a 1-drop to play. Okay, not a 1-drop. I mean, good news is their hand is really bad. That's the good news. Okay, let's see if they chain off some cantrips here. That was the other punishment for sacrificing... oh boy. So they put... Oh, just to consider? Okay, that's fine. So they have Consider and a land, right? So I can just Thoughtseize the Consider. I'm aggressively Thoughtseizing here, because... I play Bonecrusher or Heart of Kiran? I kind of want to play Bonecrusher. The reason I'm Thoughtseizing here is because, like, my Thoughtseize is not going to get anything but a cantrip anyways. And it just makes it less likely they can chain off and hit their Arclay Phoenix next turn. Okay, so we can push this. So we can go push plus play Heart of Kiran. I mean, they are going to get to Hall at some point. I mean, not next turn, but we need to dodge a Treasure Cruise for a little bit. As soon as they find Cruise, it's going to be rough. The instant they find Cruise, it's going to be tough for us. Okay, well, I don't have much else to do, so I'm just going to fire this up. It's the same amount of damage, so I'm just not going to fire up the Heart. Alright, they had nothing. Your turn. Did we get there? Blue mana. Cantrip? Oh no, they found Cruise. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. That looks like a Cruise. It is. Maybe they'll just hit 3 lands. Maybe they'll just hit all lands. Okay. Well, if they get back Phoenix without playing a removal spell, you can go Fire Up Den, Crew. We technically would have lethal, because the Den can crew the Heart. We can attack with the other 3 creatures. They block a 4 power and take 5. You know, not likely, because they've seen 6 cards and probably have a removal spell, but... Okay, they exiled Anger of the Gods. Are they going to cast Anger of the Gods? I guess they will. This actually is not that bad if they cast Anger, though. Because I can fire up the Den and crew the Heart with the Den. And they can't trade for the Heart with Phoenix. I mean, obviously they're not going to attack, and they're not going to go to 1. There's no way. They're going to chump block, but... Alright, so they can't really attack. There's no way they can attack. Alright, we drew another den. Okay, well, I think my play is pretty scripted here. Again, as we talked about last turn, just crew up the heart attack. Obviously, attacking with the den is kind of bad because they just get the trade for it. This way, they have to chump block. They don't get an efficient trade. I mean, it's not a good use of my turn, but I got nothing else to do, so... I got nothing else to do. Alright, your turn, opponent. Do your worst. Do your worst. Alright, they got an opt. Okay, so they have gone opt bottom, consider, keep, and then chart a course, discard. They discarded expressive iteration of the chart a course. That's not good. That is indeed not good for us. Lighting axe, pieces. So we just don't attack. Try to find a Chandra, maybe. Alright, your turn. I'm not going to attack into the axe. So I shouldn't F6. Could potentially fire up the den and activate the heart. They drew pieces? Come on. Come on. Come on with that draw step. It's probably their best draw step. I guess Cruise is maybe better. It's pretty close. They get the card selection off of this. Question is, can we beat these cards? Chandra maybe still beats it, but... Alright, they put Expressive Iteration and Fiery Impulse into their hand. Okay. So the Opt and the Bolt is gone. So their hand is Steam Vents, Lighting Axe, Fiery Impulse. Probably not winnable. More likely to time them out at this point. Exiled another Lightning Axe. Okay. Steam Vents tapped. Uh-huh. Alright, we've gone to combat. We have gone into combat. There's no way they're attacking. I drew a Bomat Courier. 1, 2, 3, 4, activate, fire up, play this. So I can fire up the heart and get a card off Bomat. It's not a great line, but it's a line. Alright, play the Bomat. Go to attacks. They're going to kill the heart. That's fine. I'm going to at least get to cycle the Bomat. We're going to have to plow through these lightning axes at some point anyways, so. They're going to discard maybe the second lightning axe. Alright, they have 2 axes and an impulse. Alright, they are choosing to discard. Drumroll, please. Alright, they discarded Lightning Axe. Not going to make them block. What do we got? Another Bomat Courier. Okay, so their hand is Fiery Impulse and 2 unknown cards. They also just have the Hall of the Storm Giants too, which, not that they were going to go for that, but actually, if they tap out and go for Hall, they're just dead. But there's no way on earth they would go for that, right? Is this a Temporal Trespass? This looks like it could be the Time Walk. If I had to guess, yeah, okay. Why did they pay full retail for that? I guess their hand is just all removal. Sure. Alright, so we take 3, go to 11. They get an extra turn. For blue. Please just fire up the hall. 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 What's the worst that could happen? No, no, no. Okay, well, if we draw Thoughtseize and the other card in their hand is a brick, we can kill them, right? We have enough mana. 2, 3... Yes, we have enough mana. So we need to find a discard spell. That would have been good a little while ago. I'm at 5. So I have to somehow find a removal spell that I can cast off the Bomat to kill a Phoenix to survive. Okay. Let's go to attacks. Attack with the Bomat. We'll post-combat activate it. Did we find a removal spell? Nope. Alright, we're dead. Game number 3. Don't think I want to change anything. Game went long. I could have this adversary, but nah, let's just run it back. Alright, game number 3. We are on the play, and our hand's good, so I'm going to keep it. I'm going to go Urborg into Den. Duress into 2-drop into 3-drop. So again, a nice little curve here. We get to maybe protect against Anger of the Gods. It's the card that I'm scared the most with this hand. A Braid, Trespass, Iteration. I mean, I think I have to take the Anger. We have Fatal Push for the Thing, so we don't care about the Thing. Maybe it was right to just take the Iteration and hope they brick on land. That seems so greedy, though. I don't think I can realistically do that. Because if I take Iteration and they just find land 3, it's so bad for me. Do they draw 1-mana removal spell? No. Okay. Good. Hopefully we find a 2-drop here, so I can go kill your thing, play a creature. I guess I could give them the thing for 1 turn, because they can't flip it next turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Because they can't flip it. There's no free spells in Pioneer. There's no like Manamorphose or Gutshot or anything like that, so. And the Trespasser does keep their Temporal Trespass slash Treasure Cruise in check, which is kind of cool. Okay, so they played the Hall too, so we know these 4 cards for sure. They can Abrade, but they have to discard a card to target it, so not too bad. Alright, they're casting Opt. Okay. Opt resolves. They bottomed. Cool. Now they're going to Braid. Probably do a main phase. Okay, still know about these 4 because they did not play the island. Going to Abrade the Harvester maybe? No, the Trespasser. Okay, cool. Cool, cool. So now we can go Fatal Push, Trespasser, use all our mana. They discarded the islands. They have Iteration, Trespass. Now, do that. We'll play Trespasser. I think I'm going to exile the thing in the ice just to dome them. Attack for 3. They have an Iteration and a Trespass. And the Trespasser gets to mess with the Trespassee. Can, you know, keep them a little bit low on Delve, so doing okay. What's this? I think they're trying to cast Iteration, but they need to pay red mana. We also can potentially fire up the Den of the Bugbear next turn, although it's a little risky to do that in the face of open mana. So maybe we don't want to go that route. We'll see. Maybe they tap out. Who knows? See what happens. But we know the last card in their hand is kind of a blank at this point. So. Lightning Axe, which is actually kind of cool for us because now they have to main phase that. Unless they just have more mana, but... So we still know about Trespass. This is only spell 2. Do they have land and a 1-drop? Oh, they discarded the Trespass. Okay. Let's see if they have land and a 1-drop. They don't. Alright, let's fire up the den. Our plays are kind of scripted here. Attack for 7. They have 2 cards left. Are they good ones? Let's find out. Thing in the Ice. And land tapped. Okay. Scrapheap Scrounger. Am I just firing up Den? I think what I might do is go loot with the blood token first and discard the Scrapheap Scrounger, because I can get the Scrounger back off the Trespasser anyways. Okay, I could Thoughtseize, but... if they had any spell, they probably would have just played it. Unless they felt like they... oh, no, that's not necessarily true. They definitely could have pieces in hand, and they might have wanted to hold the pieces because they would rather have the Thing in the Ice to... they needed a blocker that turn. They didn't want to tap out for pieces. I know I could have attacked first. Again, just, you know, there's some F6 value here, okay? You gotta understand there's the F6 value. But now we just get this back into turn and fire up this. The last card's a land. But yeah, they certainly could have had... they just didn't play the Stormcarved Ghost. They certainly could have drawn... what you call it? Okay, well now we even get the double check again. They could have drawn pieces last turn, because they needed to play a blocker. If they just tapped out for pieces, they would have died. So... this looks like maybe Lightning Axe? Aren't they still dead? Yeah, they're still dead. Alright. You are defeated. They block a 3 and take 5. We are 4-0. First Pioneer League in I don't even know how long, and we're playing for a trophy, so deck's gotta be good. Make sure to thumbs up and stay tuned. We'll be back here in just a little bit for round number 5. Alrighty, everybody, we are 4-0 playing for the trophy match of our very, well, not first ever, but it's been a while since I played Pioneer. Not a great start to the trophy match. We got a 1-lander, so we'll ship it. And, okay, much, much better. I think I'm going to put back the second Trespasser, because I'm only on 2 lands anyways. Lead on Bomat, attack for 1. We get to go Heart into Scrounger. I believe. Let's attack first. Basic Swamp, no Lurrus, so it could be a Vampire strategy, maybe. It's nice if they have Fatal Push, because I get to play Heart, and they can't use their mana. I mean, they can kill the Bowman, obviously, but... Heart is really nice against Fatal Push. It's one of the play patterns that came up a lot when I was in Standard, so... kind of cool that we get to see that again. Yep, Vampires. So, I was going to say if I draw a land, I can play the Trespasser, but not that land. We'll slam for 4. See what they're up to. They got land 3, attack, pass the turn, huh? Okay, let's lead on Trespasser. I'm just going to shove. I think I'm going to eat my own Bomat Courier, because I don't think... oh, no, that was bad. I was thinking there isn't a reason to keep the Bomat Courier in my graveyard, but obviously I have the Scrapheap Scrounger in play. So, yeah, I mean, I wanted the damage, but I don't think it was worth it. I should have just ate their Fatal Push. Should have kept the creature, I think, for the Scrounger. I mean, I guess the other consideration is I have other stuff to do with my mana, so it's not like I'm going to be activating the Scrounger anyways, but I should have at least given myself the opportunity. There's no way they're trading, right? Yeah, okay. That seems like a pretty obvious play. They're at 7. Pretty low. They are pretty low, all things considered. Pathway, Edga. Edga. So, when this thing dies, return it to the battlefield transformed. Jesus. That's a lot. And they get a 1/1 every turn. That's gonna be tough to beat, but I think I have to take this line. They lose a life too, right? No, they don't even lose a life. Jeez. Yeah, they don't even lose a life. I don't know why. I thought it was just like Bitter Blossom, but... So now they're at 4. They get a token. Token has lifelink too, which is bad. Urborg. Okay. Murderous Rider and Ebon Legion. They're at 4. You just go Chandra upstairs, you just dome ya. Which I think is pretty reasonable, and just leave back the Trespasser. I'm trying to think. They can potentially kill the Chandra if they attack with everything. 3 or more counters, remove it and transform, and they get this back. But not next turn. They get this thing back in 2 turns. So my options are Adversary attack, which is not a great line because they can eat the adversary with the 2/3 and then chump the other 2. I think that play is actually good. I mean, I could also just attack with both. What if I... Wait. What if I Chandra down-tick the Murderous Rider and attack with both? They can't block the Trespasser. They have to chump because they're at 1. Right? Yeah, I actually think that's a good line. I actually kind of like that line. I could have Fatal Push, which would be horrendous for me, but I think I want to get a little aggressive here. God, please don't have Fatal Push. Oh, they have it. Okay, this line was really bad against Fatal Push. Like, exceptionally bad against Fatal Push. Alright, well, that's not good. Maybe I should have went upstairs. Yeah, that line is really bad against Fatal Push. Okay, so they go to 5, they get a token. This card is really hard to beat. Jesus. So, if I had gone upstairs, I guess I would have attacked with the Scrounger first, but not the Trespasser to potentially protect the Chandra. I could have also just attacked with both. The thing about attacking with both is they get an easy double block on the 3/3 Trespasser, which is kind of why I didn't want to do that. That's why I didn't want to fire it up, but... Okay, I drew a Bomat Courier. Not great, not great. I don't really have any attacks. So... I mean, I think we're just dead. Because they get this back this turn. This card's, like, impossible to beat. Yeah, alright. We're just going to go to the next one. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. We are dead. So, playing against vampires. Edgar is tough. I guess Kolaghan's command does answer Edgar, because the backside's an artifact. I mean, I probably have to bring this in, because I can't beat Edgar otherwise. Typically don't like Thoughtseize in matchups like this, but maybe exactly Edgar is a reason to keep in Thoughtseize. I mean, the 1-for-1 removal is not great. Fatal Push, Wound, Go Blank. I kind of need the Kalitas. That also kind of sort of gives me an out to Edgar, but not really. I could, like, trim a Thoughtseize. Let's try this. I think I like this. Maybe Bomat's bad, too. Because Bomat's pretty bad against their 2/3s, and they have Zealot, which can, you know... Zealot lines up... Bomat lines up poorly against Zealot because they get the card off of the Zealot and get the trade for the Bomat, so this hand's really good. It's a really nice aggressive hand. Matchup seems tough, though. I wonder what, like, specific sideboard cards you could play against vampires. I don't know. Wonder what, like, the best possible sideboard card is against them that we have access to in Rakdos. See if they have the Zealot. Gifted Aetherworm would kind of be okay too. Might just trade the Harvester for it. Yeah, let's just go Harvester. Kill that. No. Attack. Then we can slam Chandra next turn. Maybe I should have played this untapped to hold up Play with Fire, or just played the Mountain. Because if they play an X2 this turn, I kind of really wanted to play the Play with Fire. I think this is a good exchange, though. I think it's worth trading the Harvester for the Aetherborn because it puts more counters in the Bomat Courier. So it makes the Bomat Courier much more of a threat. Okay. Yeah, I kind of wish I kept the Play with Fire now. I think it's not the worst because I still get to go Chandra, add mana, stomp the 1/1. So I think we're still fine. Yeah, we're chilling. We're just up so many cards. Soul Shatter. Okay, well, they're still going to lose to the Bomat. So I'm going to go this, Haunted Ridge, attack with both Hold Up Play with Fire and the Bomat activation. Yeah, I like that. I like that. If they play Blood Baron, I actually can't target the Blood Baron with Harvester. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3. Okay, well, I'll fire this off. Top. Top, thank you very much. So they kill my homies. Then we get to go Chandra. They're at 6. I could fire up the Den, but that's really bad if they have Fatal Push. So why don't we just go Chandra, add mana, and then play Heart plus Scrounger, I think. I guess I'll just play another Harvester, actually. I think this is better. Yeah, I don't want to walk into Fatal Push. We're so far ahead. I don't think we need to do that yet. They agree. All right. So that worked out pretty well. That's kind of where we want to be. So let's just do that again, shall we? That worked out. No changes. Run it back. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Thoughtseize, but specifically the card Edgar is incredibly hard to beat, and I really think you need to have some sort of quote-unquote clean answer to it. I mean, even Kolaghan's command's not really a clean answer because you need to find a way to deal with the front half and then also have the K command to deal with the back half. That card is just a lot. It's a lot. I guess I could cut Bomat on the draw, although Bomat almost single-handedly won me that game, so, you know, after that performance, I don't know if I want to cut the Bromat. All right, back here for game number 3. This hand is good but awkward because we have 2 Dens which come into play tapped if we play it as our 3rd land. So we have to decide if we want to lead on Thoughtseize or if I want to save the Thoughtseize until turn 3. Given the fact that the card that I am most worried about having access to Thoughtseize for is a 4-drop, I think I want to save the Thoughtseize until Edgar territory anyways. So. Okay, now I could play with fire plus... So I could either go Blood Crypt, play with fire, Thoughtseize, which helps against Sorin, or I could go Dead of the Bugbear, stomp this, next turn Thoughtseize. I think I like play with fire, Thoughtseize more. Okay. Blood Baron we don't care about, because we have Chandra. I think I might just protect the Chandra and take the Thoughtseize. Yeah, let's do that. Seems like kind of a weird line, because I could just let them Thoughtseize the Chandra. Okay, that's fine, because I can just kill that. So now we can go stomp this, play Den, attack for 1. We have Murderous Rider, Blood Baron, but we do have the Chandra to cover the Blood Baron, and I don't have to play the Chandra next turn. I can wait until they play the Blood Baron, although they're probably not going to play, like, there's a good chance, I guess I can't really attack with the Bomat here. There's a good chance they don't play the Blood Baron next turn, even if they have a white source. Because they're worried about Chandra. But yeah, I don't want to play the Chandra and just let it get Murderous Ridered. Just give them free value. Are they going to Rider the Bonecrusher? That would be really good for me. Okay, totally fine with that. I also don't have a white source. Champion. Okay, Champion's not ideal. So they have a Blood Baron and one unknown card. I could down tick on the Champion. It's really bad if they have a white source, though. What if I just go upstairs and play Bonecrusher Giant? How bad is that? It's not awful. Could trade for Hive if they fire that up. Could also just take it, discard Gate Command, leave Chandra in hand. Alternatively, if I go Chandra minus... No, I just lose the Chandra to Immutable, so that plays bad. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm just going to go upstairs. Seems like kind of an aggressive line, but I like it. If they attack, I'll just take 4, I think. And if they slam a white source, we have the Chandra to kill the Blood Baron. But I don't want to expose the Chandra until they play the Blood Baron. Okay, well, they're just never going to draw a white source. Okay, I guess I could go kill this, make you discard, and then play Scrapheap, and then just try to take over with Chandra. Let's do that. Let's go discard, 2 damage, and then just play a Scrapheap Scrounger and chill. Yeah, we're just gonna chill. No trades. I guess attacking is not bad, but if I attack, they can maybe fire back with the Hive and make me discard the Chandra. So, like, I attack, they probably have to block anyways. But now hopefully the Chandra can just get us out of this. Question is, do we make mana? Yeah, I think we just go mana Scrounger. Because if they're incentivized to attack the Chandra next turn, we get more on the crackback with the Scroungers. And I think I still just want to leave back the Bonecrusher Giant for now. Next turn, maybe I could kill the Champion and try to attack. Because maybe I actually have a good attack next turn if I kill the Champion. I mean, I guess they could fire everything at Chandra. But that's a bad draw for us. That's a really bad draw for us. Jesus. It also makes this a 5/5, which means we can't Chandra it now. And they gain 5 life. That's actually sick. That's easily their best draw. Okay, do I chump block? I think I need the Chandra in play. This is going to be tough to win. Maybe I was supposed to minus last turn? I really don't know. It's so gross. And we bricked. Not looking good. Not looking good. Yeah. I think if we dodged exactly this card, we would have been fine, but because it was exactly Sorin, we basically can't win now. That's tough. I think we maybe could have beat any other card. Because even Blood Baron, I could have just killed it. I don't know. Was I supposed to kill the Champion last turn? The problem with killing the Champion last turn is they just get to kill the Chandra for free with Mutavaults. Because I only have 1 blocker back. My board would have been Bonecrusher Giant plus Scrapheap Scrounger. So I kill this, I get to maybe eat the Murderous Rider, but then my Chandra dies anyways. So I don't think that was good. Like, I think my line is good against almost anything that's not Sorin, is what I'm trying to get at. I just did on board. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, they gained 6. I don't think I can win. Did they draw Edgar too? No, they're firing up that. Okay. Aggressive. I mean, I guess they're at 19, so they can get aggressive. Oh, I just F6'd. Okay, whoops. Yeah, whatever. It didn't really matter. You know, I have 6 anyways. Who cares? We're dead anyways. It doesn't matter. Alright, rough beats. Yeah, I think we could have beat almost any other card but Sorin, but, you know, had a lot of fun. Nice little 4-1 to start maybe our foray into Pioneer. I don't know, if you guys like the content, maybe we'll do some more Pioneer stuff. I had a blast. And definitely going to consider building this deck in paper, because again, I have most of this already, so it doesn't really. I'm not going to need that much for it. Yeah, there's not a ton I would change. I'm not a huge fan of Dreadbore. Again, just sorcery speed removal, and the Bloodthirsty Adversary I could maybe take or leave. Everything else is pretty good. I don't think there's much else I would change. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thumbs up button. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of the video. Do you guys like Pioneer? Would you like to see more Pioneer content? And with all of that, I will see everybody in the next one.